Hi guys, it's Louise and welcome to my channel. For this video, I just kind of wanted to do a February update where I talk about what's been going on medically, updates on the channel, and overall where my mind is at, because I like making videos, talking to you guys once in a while. And I also want to address some questions that I think might be in some people's minds. And while I record this, I'm drinking fruit punch because I'm thirsty. And actually, funny story, off topic tangent, I actually typically don't like fruit punch, but I like this brand, Apple and Eve, because it's kind of like juicy juice, that we all drank as kids, but not as chemically tasting. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So if you hear, like, sipping noises, that's what it is. So, first things first, this February, on February 15th, I officially turned a quarter century years old. I'm 25, and it is really amazing, but weird to be this age, because I don't feel this age at all. I definitely can tell that I'm not a teenager anymore, but I don't know, 25 just sounds, it's weird. I don't really feel like it's old, but it's like, oh my god, like, you are officially an adult now and have been for quite a while, and you need to come to terms with that. And so, I don't know, it's just really weird, turning 25 as well, because, I have persistent depressive disorder, and I'm also late diagnosed ADHD autistic, and there's a lot of things in the background that I struggle with that I think a lot of people who are 25 don't. And so it's just really weird to be this age, but I say it's positively weird because 25, because of my depression, is an age I thought I'd never see. I genuinely did not think I'd make it to 25. And not only does my depression play a factor, it's also my congenital heart disease that plays a factor. Because my parents have told me that when I was first diagnosed at 4 months old with tricuspid atresia, they were told I'd only live to be 13. And unfortunately, I mean, I guess it's kind of good, but, unfortunately, tricuspid atresia is so rare, doctors don't really know what the prognosis is. I could live until I'm 60, I could live till I'm 80, or I could die tomorrow. I mean, technically, anything can happen. Any of us could die tomorrow, but you know what I mean. Being born with a severe physical disability and mental disabilities that came later in life, 25 is just an age I never thought I'd see. And despite my struggles, I'm really thankful that I made it to 25. Because, this year alone, I have been through very difficult things, like my heart surgery and my leg blood clot and all that, which I'll get into a little bit more later in the video. But there's a lot of amazing, positive things that I wouldn't have gotten to do if, I'd succumbed to my heart disease or I'd killed myself, And so I'm so thankful that I'm here. And, one of those highlights is, seeing Paul McCartney last October. That still blows my mind that I was able to do that. I'm just floored by him. I'm obsessed with him, as y'all can tell, and I'm just so honored and thankful that even though I didn't meet him and my camera took shitty pictures, that I just got to feel his presence. And it felt like his voice was hugging me and making me feel safe and secure, despite being in an incredibly sensatory hell of a room, with thousands of people and loud instruments and crazy laser lights and all that stuff that normally would trigger me because I have autism. But yeah, no, the minute Paul came on stage and started singing, I think it was Coming Up from McCartney 2 was the first song. If anybody remembers the Minnesota show, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the first song was Coming Up.
So everybody can be free. I know we can get together. We can make it. Stick together. It's coming up. Coming up. Coming up.
And the minute that started, I didn't give a shit about anything or anyone else. Like, I didn't even care that the laser lights were right in my face. I didn't care that there was some lady hooting and hollering behind me. Didn't give a shit. Did not care. Because I was just like, nope, this is Paul's land, Paul's world, and we're all living in it. Everybody. Even if you're not at the concert, you're living in it, baby. Like, I love him so much. I'll admit, it's parasocial and fucking crazy, but what can I say? Alright, now I want to do a quick February health update. I'm going to do a quick review of what's been happening for those who don't know, but I think most of my subscribers know because they've seen videos of me talking about it and my community posts talking about it, but I'm just going to give a brief rundown. As I mentioned earlier in this video, I was born with tricuspid atresia, which is something I talk about quite frequently on this channel. It's a congenital birth defect of the heart where I was born missing the tricuspid valve, which helps with oxygenation. And I only get about 70 to 80% oxygen on a good day, but this can fluctuate from anywhere from 30% up to very, very high 80s, sometimes 90s on rare occasions. Due to this birth defect, I have gone through many open heart and catheter surgeries. I've been in hospital for very long times, for many times in my life and childhood. I went a lot more frequently when I was younger, but it's still something I have to monitor. In September of 2025, I had another shunt operation, my first one since I was about 12. And this is one they've been floating around doing since I was 17, about 2018-ish, roughly, is when they started talking about doing this one that I just did, but we kept delaying it because of distance at the time. I was living 6 hours away from my specialist hospital, and also just not having a ride because I don't drive, and I still don't to this day, and just all that stuff, plus more, was delaying it. Initially, the surgery was successful, and as aforementioned, I got to see Paul McCartney less than a month after, because my surgery was September 23rd, 2025, and I saw Paul on October 17th, 2025. I started taking the medication Plavix to prevent blood clots and also keep my shunt open so it doesn't close and fail on me. And then in November, I did my surgery follow-up with my doctor and got taken off the Plavix and switched to adult aspirin after being on baby aspirin for 24 years because the Plavix was giving me awful 20-minute bloody noses. And I went home thinking that I was okay. About a day or two after my surgery follow-up in November, I ended up getting stomach pain. It initially felt like menstrual cramps, but like upper, like more in your belly area than, where you usually get menstrual cramps if you have those. And it just escalated to the point where I was having diarrhea, to the point where I had to do a stool sample test to check for stomach virus, E. coli, C. diff infection, and there was I think 10 other things, stomach-related bacteria infections that I tested for, and I was all negative. And then around Christmas time, I started having accidents, and I was going to the bathroom, diarrhea, at least 8 times a day, if not more. Before Christmas, however, I was handling it. I was going a lot, but I was managing. But around Christmas, I was having accidents. And then Christmas Day, specifically, my leg started to hurt, and I thought that I slept on it weird or whatever. And then, the pain escalated to where I couldn't stand. I couldn't bear my own weight anymore. And I had to go to the ER after talking to a nurse crisis center. And then I had to be helicopter flown to Mayo Clinic, who usually treats me. And then I had to do another heart surgery on January 7, 2026, which was a shunt again. They put in another one inside my new one that I got in September to basically make a funnel. And that's what happened. And I was also on an IV drip with a drug called heparin, for 2 weeks, started in the ER. And, yeah, so that's what happened to me. Sorry, now that I listen back to myself, I don't think that was a brief description, but I really tried to brief what happened as much as I could, but a lot of shit went down, after Paul's show, so, and before, but really after. Anyway, where am I today on February 20th, 2026? Well, first things first, I don't have stomach pain anymore or diarrhea, thank God. Dealing with that for almost 2 months, especially not feeling it now, was agonizing. Agonizing, dude. Like, you know, I've had like the 24-hour bug and influenza and, you know, I've had that stuff, but that only lasts for a week tops, you know? But this was almost 2 months, dude. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. It was the worst thing ever. And, yeah, I just feel physically 100% better. And it's like magic, really, like how much it changed. And how quickly it changed too, because, they ended up giving me Dilaudid at the ER, for my leg, and then they gave me, some water with like gritty stuff in it. It was a medicine to treat hyperkalemia, spelled Hyperkalemia, if you want to look that up, but basically it just means high potassium in my blood, which is really funny because I just drank a bunch of, like, what's that stuff called? Smart water kind of stuff, like electrolyte, because, you know, I've been having diarrhea for so long previously that my caregivers were like, you should drink some electrolyte because you've been so sick. And so I did. I struggled with it because I don't really like drinking stuff like that, but I did. And I ended up getting potassium too high. And then a couple days later, I had to do an orange drink, because I developed hypokalemia, which is the same, but hypo at the end instead of hyper, to get it, back up. And so yeah, I had, liver and kidney and spleen damage from all this craziness. But even just right there, after the Dilaudid and the first gritty water drink, I felt better, like, immediately, at least when it came to my stomach. My leg took a little bit, longer. I think it took almost the entire 2 weeks for my leg. Almost, actually, over that, yeah, because I had to use my walker for the first, like, 3 days after discharge here at home. So my leg took a little bit, but my leg is also better too. Anyways, since being home, I am on 5 new medications. Eliquis to help my leg get better, because I still have some of the clot in my thigh. And then I'm on 2 water pills. I'm not going to attempt to say the names because they're like really long, but basically, they make me pee a lot to get rid of edema, water around my lungs. They're not in my lungs, I don't have pneumonia, but it's around, and I think that's where the diarrhea was coming from. Unfortunately, those pills make me pee a lot, but the nice thing is, it's usually in the morning, like right after I take it, and then I'm fine for the rest of the day, which is nice. And then I'm on a new birth control, And then I'm on a medication called digoxin, which is supposed to control my heart rate. I think it's a medication meant for atrial fibrillation. I don't know if I have that or not. Probably, since they gave it to me, but I don't know. And then, yeah, I'm just kind of waiting to go back to the Mayo Clinic to see how I'm doing. And hopefully everything is going well in regards to my health. And I'll probably update you guys either on video or my community posts when that time comes. Good juice. Anyway, that's a good segue to talking about the future of my YouTube channel and my thoughts on running it and kind of that whole topic. And honestly, my mind is still very mixed on what I want to do with this channel. I have a lot of ideas, like my Parenting Paul audiobook, but I haven't actually worked on writing that in like, God, I would say 4 months. I think the last time I worked on my fan fiction was, God, I'm trying to think of when it was. I don't even remember. I think it was maybe the week of Paul's show? Maybe? I honestly don't even remember. But I do know, even though I've been working on it for 3 years, it's still not done. I'm near the end, but it's not done yet. And I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to read it myself, or if I'm going to use AI to make it sound like Paul's reading it, and so on and so forth. But I don't know, because I know AI is very controversial, which is going to lead me into another conversation that I want to have later in this video. But I also know that I get breathy when I talk, because of my heart disease and things, and I don't know if that's going to be enjoyable, especially when you want to listen to an audiobook. So I would really appreciate subscribers who are interested telling me what I should do with my story. And I would even take suggestions of don't make an audiobook, like don't do it. And maybe posting the story on Wattpad. I don't know. It sucks because it really is a passion project for me, and I want people to experience it because of that. But I don't know the proper way to do that, So that's kind of murdering my motivation, so to speak. Also edits. Also, motivation is just kind of gone when it comes to editing right now. I do have an edit of Paul's stepsister, Ruth, that I forgot to post, which I might post later this weekend. I made it for her 66th birthday, because Ruth shares my birthday, actually. I was going to post it on February 15th, but then I had my birthday party, and I forgot. I did make a community post celebrating Ruth, but I had an edit done too, but I forgot to post it. So I'll probably, like I said, post it later. But yeah, otherwise, I don't really have ideas or motivation to make edits right now, which kind of bums me out because I enjoy doing it, but my brain isn't letting me. And I don't know if it's burnout or just not having ideas or what. I don't know. I also really want to make another interactive fan fiction, kind of like my Paul McCartney Missing Albums game that I did in 2022. But again, I'm kind of torn on if I really want to, because I had a really cool idea to have AI voices in it this time. But again, I don't know if people are going to like that or not. So I'm just very torn, because a lot of my ideas that I have kind of require AI. And that's the other thing, too, is I've been trying to make, like, fan songs for Paul and his family, plus some other fandoms that I'm into, like Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. I actually really like them. I also like some kids from Toddlers and Tiaras, like Eden Wood and Alana Thompson and Mackenzie Myers. And just things like that. I want to make like fan songs for them. And I think I'm a really good lyricist, but again, because of my breathing issues, I don't know if I can sing that well. So my thought process was like, I will write the song. It'll be my words. But AI sings it for me, so it's actually decent. At least somewhat decent. Better than what I could do. You know, and I can't pay anybody to sing it for me, so what do I do? You know, so I'm just very torn on what I want to do with this channel. And so, because of that, I'm kind of not focusing on it. You know, I'll put updates on the community thing here and there and birthday posts here and there, but that's kind of where my channel stands right now. So yeah, I'm just kind of focusing on my health after everything. Tuesday, I start with my new therapist. That's a whole thing I don't want to get into right now, but I will say it's my first time doing therapy in person since I was in high school, and doing it in high school was very traumatic for me because I don't like school counselors. I really don't. I don't think they're trained properly to deal with trauma. And so I just don't like it. And I know that, like, the therapist I'm going to be seeing isn't a school therapist because I'm an adult, but that's kind of my only experience with in person. So I'm just a little nervous about it. So I'm just trying to, excuse me. Sorry, I'm full of burps. But anyway, I'm trying to just focus on my health, mentally and physically. And I hope you guys can accept that. I really don't know if I'm going to end the channel or not. I know I've said that I was in the past. And maybe it will happen. I really don't know, but that's just kind of where my mind is. Anyways, thank you for watching. I appreciate you all. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your February. Bye.